Richard Kaufman, also known as the Comeback Coach. I'm a two-time top-selling author, veteran podcaster, and in-demand public speaker. Before I met Joe, I had a top-selling book. I had a top 0.5% rated, globally ranked podcast, but I was making no money. All my bills for the podcast was coming out of my own pocket. I wasn't very successful financially. I'm not a business person. I'm a ninth grade dropout. And I realized I don't know what I don't know. So I hired somebody that does know, and that's Joe Nicassio. Joe set me up with my three avatars, who my listeners were, who my sponsors were, and then who I was. I had no idea, how do I go for sponsors? How much am I worth? And he taught me to ask the hard questions and just say, actually ask people, you want to sponsor the show for 5 or 10K? And before I was afraid to do that. A friend of mine, Robert, the Warrior Strategist Garcia, and any friend of Robert's, a friend of mine. I studied Joe and I loved everything that he was doing. And I had to get in his ecosystem one way or another. Thought Joe was way above my pay grade. I was afraid to approach him about working with me because I've seen some of the greats that he's worked with and has been mentored by himself. So I felt I was a little bit out of his league. Life is totally different than what it was when I first met Joe. I'm going next month on my 5th vacation and section luxury cruise in a year to the Bahamas. And I have the freedom of time and I have freedom of money, all because of things that I've learned from Joe Nicassio. I'm actually building my own recording studio. My book hit #1 on Amazon. Now I charge people for coming on my show instead of me doing it for free. I'm like, listen, I've had this person, and if you want to come on the show, it's going to cost you some money in order for me to get you into the front of the line because I have 300 recorded episodes already. Joe taught me something. He taught me is people that pay attention, and also to know your worth. First of all, that you are your brand and you have to market yourself the right way. People will only see you the way you see yourself. If you do not learn how to up level your marketing, your branding, your graphics, your podcasting to make sure you're upgrading your emails, if you're not doing all the right things, you're not going to become successful. And like I said, you don't know what you don't know. So I hired Joe. The most benefits that I see, it's not just financial, it's time. Like when I get off today, I'm actually going to go hang out in my jacuzzi with my wife. I'm going to be able to hang out with my kids and go on cruises and vacations. Time is your most precious commodity and you don't get it back. And that's what something Joe taught me is if you trade in time for money, you need to make it worth it. Picked up my first paying sponsor in 9 days of starting to work with Joe. And now we have up to 10 paying clients, including 3 of my students. So from that 9th day on, I've been making money. And I think we're going on almost a year. Great learning from Joe, but I still don't know what I don't know. So even though we've been working together this long, I'm still in his ear. I'm still saying, hey, help me. I need this. I need that. So I think that we're growing together on this plateau. It's been a life changer. And my family would agree that it's been a life changer. The way people view me now is they see me being more successful. They see me in the Bahamas taking pictures, taking videos on the beach, pictures of my wife and my kids. And they see, hey, if he can do it, I can do it. And now with my guests, if I have somebody like Robert Kiyosaki, Sharon Lecter, any of these big name people come on, now they're like, wait a minute, they're on the Vertical Momentum podcast. How come I'm not on it? And then my sponsors also say, wait a minute, he's got all these big name people. Why should I not invest in their show? Because I know that when I sponsor Vertical Momentum, I'm getting it in front of over 100,000 people a month. People just start seeing me as successful and hopefully as a role model to where they can go and where they can be. My wife, she knows that not only am I a better businessman, I'm a better man. And I think when you can say, honey, I want to go on a cruise next year, but I want to go into the yacht club, which is like the most expensive thing you can go. And I told her that's where we're going the next time we go on a cruise. So when you're able to do that, instead of saying, you know what, honey, instead of getting bottom piece of steak, let's get the filet mignon. It makes them feel more loved and honored to know not only am I working harder, but I'm working less to spend more time with. The price that I've paid to work with Joe I would pay 10, 20 times more to work with Joe because he's meant not only that as a coach, as a mentor, but also as a friend. And now, because of what Joe's taught me, just this morning, I got a notification from LinkedIn that I'm one of the top business development voices on LinkedIn. And a lot of it's because of the things that Joe has taught me. So it's not just me saying it, it's other people saying it about the things that Joe has taught. Joe has a heart of service. Joe cares about people. Joe cares about veterans and first responders. Sometimes Joe's heart is too good, but I also know that when Joe says he's going to do something, you can guarantee it. He's going to do it. So if you want a coach that's going to show up for you, even when you don't want to show up for you sometimes, Joe Nicassio is that coach.